Welcome to A Man's Journey. I'm Mo.
And I'm Tsepo. Thank you for joining us today on our show. Just a quick note on our side. A journey of a man is basically where we look at the challenges a man could face or has faced in his life up to date. We also will showcase and speak to men who have faced the same challenges either by growing up in a community where there is basically no future, or stigma, or a single parent home, if you do understand that. So
Today we will speak to Mr. Anthony Bingham, Mark Anthony Bingham, sorry. And the person, he's an entrepreneur, mentor, Latin dancer. So we will welcome him to the show today as we speak to him about his journey. Tepo will enter in.
just bring him through, yeah? So Mr. Mark Bingham will basically be telling us a bit more about his life and his upbringing throughout his life, and we'll be hearing that from him now. Hello, Mark, how are you doing?
Good yourself.
I'm good, thank you.
How's it, Mo?
That's good, man.
Welcome to our show, A Man's
Good.
Journey, where we showcase men who had faced challenges in their life, or the stigma attached to men about coming from certain areas. Welcome, Mr. Mark Anthony.
Thanks
Please
for having me.
introduce yourself.
So Mark, please do tell us a bit about yourself.
Thanks. First of all, what's that?
Please do tell us a
Can
bit
you hear
about
me?
yourself, Mark. Yeah, I can hear
Oh,
you.
myself. Okay. But first of all, I just want to say thank you guys for having me and inviting me and giving me this platform to share about my life. You guys are doing an amazing job, and I've waited so long for something like this to happen. Not in my experiences, the life experiences.
Yeah.
And but let me introduce myself. I'm Mark Anthony Bingham. Most of you guys know me as Marky Mark. Coming all the way from Westbury, which is in the West Rand. 30 years of age, and full of life, passionate, driven. I'm an uncle. I am an entrepreneur. I am business minded. I'm just everything in one. Yeah. So that's me. That's me. That's me in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's one thing. I define myself as being my own commodity. Yeah.
Yeah. It's actually true.
Mark,
Everything is your own commodity. True with that.
Mark, coming from Westbury, you know the stigma behind Westbury. As a young man growing up, how did that affect you in your life?
Coming from Westbury, it's been very, very tough. Because we all know gangsterism and teenage pregnancy. Those are the big things that really affect Westbury's teens and youth growing up. And growing up was very tough for me in a way. Not that I was introduced to all these substances or substance abuse or anything, but that I was in a community like that. That I could have had the choice of going into, using substances. I could have gone into impregnating a girl, teenage pregnancy, or I could have just started my life off, not on the right track. It has been tough, but with perseverance and just having the right mindset, I managed to get through, and just praying and trusting God in everything that I did. I managed to get through, but it's very, very tough growing up in Westbury because I basically live where my mom was the heart of the gangsterism. That define me and where I want to see myself. So Yeah, but I must say that it's tough. And till today, for so many other guys and teenagers in that community, it's very tough. They need to try and break away from that.
Yeah, because coming from the wood, if I have to put it in that sense,
Yeah.
you actually carry that on your shoulder. What motivated you? What
Yes.
motivated you to actually achieve something in your life rather than what's either
Yeah.
children or change your
Yeah.
life set, your mindset?
Yeah. I must say, what motivated me and kept me going, because he was a gangster. I don't know if anybody knows the Spaldings, but he was a gangster. I could have chosen that same route. My father also did drugs, and I'm happy to share that with everybody because I'm not gonna hide, because this is part of my journey. All these things, and people need to know that. And my father did drugs, but what really motivated me is that he didn't want me to go down that road,
Mm,
because I remember it so clearly that we were sitting in the yard and we were playing, and he wanted like some drugs. He wanted his next fix, basically, right? And he sent me inside the house because he didn't want me to see what he was doing
mm.
at that time. And he sent somebody else to the shop. And when with drinking, he wasn't abusive, but he also had like some alcohol, and he would never do these things in front of us. And he actually motivated me. Although he was doing these things, he motivated me and pushed me into a different direction or different path than what he was going. And he kept me motivated every time. My mom motivated me because she also basically just let me do what I wanted to do. Because so many times, especially in colored homes, they basically, it's either you go to school, once you matriculate, that they send you off. They say, you know what, you need to get a job.
Mm.
You can't sit at home. You can't do this. You can't do that. And like they say, it's the starter pack. Just going to work in a bank,
Yeah,
and get your car, and that's where it stops. Get a golf, work in a bank. Yeah, I'm stereotyping here, but this is what we really see. And get some gold teeth and stuff like that. And that's where it ends for most of our colored men. But I didn't want to go down that path. I decided. That's why I said to you in the beginning that I'm my own commodity. Right? I wanted to be different. I wanted to stand out. I didn't want to be like the norm. And
yeah.
my parents really motivated me in pushing me to do what I wanted to, like, to fulfill my passion and go after what I want. And that's what kept me motivated.
Yeah, not a lot of people know this about you, but you know, you did ballroom dancing or Latin
Yeah.
dancing. As a colored boy from Westbury, what was the stigma behind?
Oh,
The stigma
very deep,
behind
yeah.
a guy, yeah, who actually does these
Yeah,
type of things. There is this thing
yeah,
where they say, "Hey, this brother is not right,"
yeah.
or
Ex-
this person,
exactly.
is in that direction. How did you
Yeah,
overcome that stigma, or that people to change that people's mindset and still
yeah.
carry on to do what you want to do, your heart, your passion?
Uh, Yeah, well, I must say, that was a very tough part of my life, because my father, as any other man, out there, whether you black, white, colored, Indian, it doesn't matter, wanted me to play soccer, wanted me to do something very, very manly, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I remember I was in primary school and they bought me my very first pair of soccer boots. I'm like, okay, fine. And I put these things on and they sent me to go and play soccer. But for the life of me, I didn't feel driven, or I didn't have a passion, or I couldn't even kick a ball because I was, kicking in, not in the opposing team. I actually scored some goals into
Yeah.
my actual team. But that's when I decided, I'm like, nah, this is not for me. And I told my mom that I'm like, I really want to do dancing. And you know, with dancing, they're either going to say, oh, this one, it's either gay, you know, all the stereotypes. You're more fit, you this, you that, you this. But and very for me, because you know, I used to cry. I used to cry because I'm like, but this is what I want to do. This is my passion. But I needed to search deep within myself to say that, you know what, no matter what anybody else says, this is what I want to do, and this is what I'm going to do. And I changed so many mindsets with dance, because when I'm at an event or a party, people are always asking like, hey, are you guys the entertainment or anything like that? I'm like, no, it's just like, you know, it's just what I do. This is my passion. And it's changed so many mindsets to show that even though you are a man, you can do all these other things. You can do your Latin, you can do your body, you can do contemporary dancing. You don't have to be just fixed on one thing, whether it's rugby, cricket, soccer, that's it. All the manly sports, boxing and stuff like that. There's so many things for us to do and to explore. And that's my heart and my cry for my community, even though I'm not living there at the moment, but it's my heart and my cry for my community to just open their minds as well, to see that there's so many other things that they can do. Because I always go on this. One pastor always said that the graveyard is the richest place that you can find, because everybody just dies there without using their talents at all. And so many people have so much potential and talent, especially the young men. They can be business entrepreneurs and businessmen, and you know, the next best thing, but they just need to discover that for themselves and know that soccer is not just where it ends. There's so many other things that they can do as well. And with dance has proven that to me. And whether they laughed or, you know, joked about it and stuff like that, I think that, and I know that they've seen that, and hopefully everything will come together and they will explore more. If I should say
About
that.
entrepreneurship, Mark, what led you
Yeah.
to become an entrepreneur yourself?
And what led me? Oh, okay. So I needed money. I don't love money, but I just wanted more. Because they were giving me an allowance, but I wasn't getting like enough. So I started off a little garden service with we loaned some money from my mom, right? And yeah. So we said, fine, we're gonna start a gardening service. Me and my one buddy, which I also just helped along the ways. He was one, how I assisted him there, but mentored him. But we started a little gardening service, and we went to the Bosch and we got out to the builders and we got a little grass machine. First we started off with a scissor, and then we got a lawnmower. But we went around to people's doors inside the community, and we used to knock and like, hey, you know, you want us to cut your grass? And they were giving us minimum wage, eh? It was minimum wage. But for you to see that extra and additional income, you're like, yo, this is amazing. And yeah, it was tough work though, but you're not worried because you're like, hey, I'm getting money. And that really motivated me. And because I wanted to progress so much in life, that is why I found myself hungry to become an entrepreneur and a businessman in general. And that's where it all started. And sorry.
You were touching on mentoring your friend. What
Yes.
made you decide to mentor someone?
It's a strange story. I won't mention his name. Just where he doesn't want his name mentioned. However, he said like wasn't a good upbringing, but he would always find himself at the gambling school. I think they call it that, the gambling school. I wouldn't know because I didn't go there. But the gambling school, either drinking, just finding himself in the wrong place at the wrong time. And we were never friends because one of the things was my mom and my dad, they were so strict as well that they didn't allow us to get or leave the house, the premises of the house. We were like jailbirds, I'm telling you. So when I got the time to escape, I could escape and like, hey, and I made a friend, and he became my friend. And later on, I seen what he was doing, and I just took him under my wing. He used to come and sleep at my house and stuff like that, and I would just mentor him and tell him like, hey, that's not the path you want to go. There's so much more to life than dice, dice games, gambling, drinking, everything that we see around us. And at that point, he actually made a decision to change, and he started his own printing company, and he's done amazing for himself. Started working, he's a provider for his family, and yeah,
No,
Nice.
that's great work, man.
Yeah,
yeah.
very true with that. So, since the whole mentoring, starting a gardening service, how far have you come since today, to date, since back then, in terms of your business, your mentorship?
So far,
Yeah, how far have they
oh,
grown?
so in terms of my business, so yeah, so what happened? Okay, how I start? So I started, as I mentioned, I started off the business, which was the gardening
Yeah.
service business,
Mhm.
which then, as young people, you just like you're doing this, you want pocket money, and it came to an end, and
Yeah.
it was done and complete. Then years later, as years went on, became older, became wiser. Then that's why I said I'm my own commodity. I just
Yeah.
do extraordinary things. So I went for an audition, which was the Tropical Island of Treasure audition, and then I made the cut for this Tropical Island audition, which aired on some
Yeah.
channel. I'm not going to mention, but yeah,
No, we all know
from
that.
there
That's
on.
fine.
But from there on, I was actually on the Espresso show, amazing thing, like weird, funky pants. And I was on the Espresso show, and the presenter or the host at that time was Katlego Moboy. And he's like, "She's,
Mm,
dude, where did you get these sick trousers?" I'm like,
mm.
because like I told you, I'm my own commodity. I'm crazy. I just like things that people
No, that's
like, oh,
correct.
why is that guy doing this thing? And this guy actually saw, he said, you know what? That you could actually start a business with that. Um,
Mm,
and from that day, when he uttered those words, is when I went back home and to the drawing board, and I started a fashion label. It's called Sir Bingham, where we design male, female, we design everything.
Yeah.
But that's not where it actually really stops, is that I really want to broaden this
mm,
fashion label, or this house, should I say this fashion house, because I don't want to be restricted as to just making it a fashion house, but I want to break boundaries of being the
Yeah.
next Branson, where I could be serving
yeah.
something like that, be the very first South African coming from the hood, as you said, from the hood, showing other guys that it is possible and you can achieve if you just put your mind to it and persevere every time. And yeah, that's where I am right now with my business. And I took on a second business, which is with another one of my business partners, where I started a food truck called Dano's Bagels, and we sell gourmet bagels, and that has really been, yeah, life changing. I thought that it was going to be like something small, people
Yeah.
just like, oh, okay, it's food.
Yeah.
But if I must say that, yeah, it's an amazing venture, because people are really, really impressed. It's like something out of this world, and that's what I wanted. I wanted people to experience as well, with my fashion label, with this food truck. I wanted people to experience something that they're not used to, because we all know food
Mm,
trucks. It's either, especially in the locations, we're gonna have your chisan nyama, this and that.
Yeah.
But I wanted something, and we came up with this brilliant idea. So
no, great work, man. That's great stuff. Uh,
yeah.
you know, during this COVID-19, they say you must always come up with new ideas and stuff. What
Mhm.
advice can you give somebody who actually from Westbury, from Aldos, from the Cape Flats, from
Yeah.
you know, all those areas that has this bad stigmas behind it. What advice could you give them to actually show that, you know, become an entrepreneur, or entrepreneur advice or personal advice? What can you give them?
Yeah. First of all, yeah, all these areas, yeah, all these townships and these areas that have a stigma attached. It's really sad, you know, and also that sometimes that our government really doesn't really give as much as they should into this thing. But I want to tell them that even though people are not investing in your life right now, you should take that moment and that step to, oh, sorry, you should take that moment and that step to say that, you know what, despite the circumstances, despite the odds, despite what the negative words I'm receiving, the backlash that I'm receiving, that I'm going to make something of myself. And during this time of COVID, it's time for people just to take a seat back and relax and go back to the drawing board and to see, okay, fine, where what is there that South Africa needs? What is there that the world needs? You know, it's the same thing as what's happening right now with the people with the masks. I mean, nobody thought we were ever going to be wearing masks, but
Yeah.
it has become a necessity. It has become such a necessity right now. So in this time, I'm going to tell young men, especially, to take
Mm.
take a seat back, relax, and just see what is there, what that the market really needs right now. Because there's an entrepreneur in every one of us.
Yeah.
Every one of us. People can't say that, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. And in this time, you can make so much money. You don't even have to do a 9 to 5 job, because you can be your own businessman and you can make so much. It's not only about the money, but you could change so many lives as well by starting your own little business, your own little company. Just to take it easy, take a step back, no matter what happens. We sympathize and empathize with what's happening in the world right now, but to also just focus on yourself right now. Do you, and see what it is that you can provide, what service it is that you can provide. Because I mean, there's something there for everybody, and so many people need something in today's life. So take it away, man. Take it away.
There's
That's
no,
that's
there's
that's all
no,
I can
there's
say,
no
man.
limit. There's no limit.
There's no limits. Yeah, yeah. That, as you're saying, there's no limits. I remember that one of my dance coaches always used to say that they say that the sky is the limit, but it. But to her, she said that it's just the beginning. And those words actually stuck with me. That it's just the beginning, because the universe is so vast. It's so much. We see stars, specks of stars in the sky, but the universe is so vast, which means there's so much opportunity out there for one
Definitely.
to experience. And yeah, so take that, like the sky is just it's the limit, but that's just the beginning. You can just break through those boundaries, and there's so much more to experience and to encounter.
And that's actually advice you can take to your home, to break that cycle too. You know, that cycle of, okay, my family's poor, I need to be poor, or my father
Yeah,
beats up my mother, I need to beat up my wife or girlfriend or
yeah,
whatever.
exactly.
You know,
Mhm.
well, while we're on that topic too about beating, you know, gender-based violence, especially now with
Yes,
alcoholism in the family, in the
yeah.
what, how do you, or can you, how can do you mentor people in terms of, like, in that direction, you know, get out of that, breaking that cycle?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Do mentor people, especially when it comes to the gender-based violence. Something we all strive for. Relationship goals, like good relationship goals,
Yeah.
at the end of the day. And we yeah, I mentor people, just encouraging them and showing them, you know what, you need to value your partner, you know, your female. Because I think so many guys, and I don't wanna I don't put this in the correct context, because I don't want to offend people or offend my community as well, offend any other community. But we so many of us colored guys that, like I said, we think that that's where it ends. We become merchants, we become this, we become that, and now we start treating our females like scum, because we've made this thing, we just see them like scum. But you actually you have to treasure and carry that female with your partner. You know, and keep as a use it as a commodity, like one. You have to send in 30 more, about 7 kids. And if I tell you that these kids were so amazed to see a statue of Nelson Mandela, to see that there is more than Westbury out there. So, so if that is that, what about the rest of the world and how they need to experience that? And they were very taken aback about to see that, wow, this is what there is in the life. And they thought life just ended at Westbury. School, this, job, Westbury, it's done. But but showing that, like showing them the finer things in life, showing them that you can go out and dine, you can take your girlfriend out to the movies, go out dinner, do something special, do a picnic. Even if you don't have money, go to Emerentia Dam or whichever dam and just chill. But just make sure that you show somebody, your partner, that you appreciate them so much.
I was actually going to ask you what advice you have for them, and but you got the advice and you're giving them the advice.
Because I think that females as well, us as men, we need to cherish and treat our females with the respect and dignity they deserve. Because I feel that some girls also don't really value themselves that much. Because if I was a guy, I just come there, I'm like, hey, you know what, we're gonna start dating. Here's a chomp chocolate, I'm just using that as an example. Whereas they should know the value, and say that, you know what, I'm more than a chomp chocolate. I'm a Ferrero Rocher. I don't need those things in my life. So you know.
Definitely.
So yeah, if I could put it in that way.
And in terms of
yourself at the end of the day.
Nice. In terms of your mentorship, how can people get into contact with you? Maybe somebody's looking for someone to mentor, that's looking at you directly. How can people get into contact with
you? Okay. Well, they can get me on my social media handles, which is obviously my Facebook page, which is Mark Anthony Bingham. Then I also my Instagram handle, which is for Mark Anthony Bingham. Twitter handle is Mark Anthony Bingham as well. And yeah, or my email, or they can email me at Mark Bingham's Mark Bingo, which is BINGO 27@gmail.com. And I'm always around Westbury, and people know me, so they can always shout out. But for those that want to get in contact with me and they're not from Westbury, that's the handles they can use. Yeah.
Okay. Any future projects that they can look forward to?
Any future project? Yes. So there is some future projects that will also spiral into me becoming, just opening or furthering, like I said, Bingham doesn't just stop there, but to broaden that. I'm really looking at, or I'm busy doing some studies and some research into how to open up a production house, because I believe that there's so much of talent inside our community, and what is being portrayed on the television is the normal stereotypical things: teenage pregnancy, drugs, gangsters. For people that come from that community, I want to change that. Exactly.
You want to change. You want to change the narrative through arts and.
To arts, exactly. And that's what I want to do. And I want people to come to this Sir Bingham's production house, a production house straight out of Westbury, to say that there's so much of talent there. We might find our next Charlize Theron in that community, you know, because I'm not even limiting, I don't even limit it to South African sectors and stuff like that, because that's not where my mind is at right now. My mind is to take over the world and to introduce Westbury to the world, because that's and that's I think I've accomplished that in a way when I was on that with this television show, because you know so many people are so afraid to say where they come from, you know, especially in those interviews that you have to do. They ask you where you're from, and they're obviously going to use somebody else's house, and you know, just to make you feel like they're having a lavish life. And I'm so glad that I am an individual that I could take that step to say that I'm bringing them back to the hood, even though one of the kids were like, "Hey, that uncle has a camera. We're gonna steal it from you." But I'm like, don't worry about this. They just joking. They just joking.
No,
They just joking. But
true.
I want to show that this is where I'm from, and I want to take Westbury to the rest of the nation. And I believe I've achieved that. And went to the Maldives. Like, what better way to give a platform to Westbury? Like,
that's what I was just gonna say now. A guy from Westbury, a place that had no future, basically. That's the stigma behind it. To go to all the way through to Maldives, travel and explore. You know, that is a great achievement. Well done to you, Mark. And that is what this show is actually about. You know, where we can talk about these things that as the unspoken truths about, because like you say, a lot of people, they come from an area but they're so fearful to talk about that area where they are from, and because they fear what the stigma behind it is. Like, I'm this colored boy, I'm from this area, and you know, the stigma behind it is like, hey, he must have been a gangster, you must know people that can take you out, you know, that type of stigmas. And well done to you. Thank you very much for your time and joining us on a man's journey, talking about your story and your achievement. We hope that this can touch at least one person's life. You know, that is our passion, and our passion, my passion, Chipo's passion, is to evolve the young man from breaking to change that mindset, you know, evolve him from that mindset to achieve greater things in life. And always saying,
and I thank you guys for starting this platform, because so many people need this. You know, so many people need this. We see there are some platforms that they are, but then they don't speak to us because it's not our own people, so we can't relate. You know, and I'm glad that you guys started something like this. So we're speaking to people that we grew up with, that face the same challenges we face every day. And now we can see that it is possible to move ahead in life. It is possible to grow yourself. It is possible to take yourself to the next level.
Definitely. Thank you very much. We'd like to thank you, thank our viewers who are tuned in or going to be tuned in. I'm Mo.
And I'm Tepo.
And I'm
very much.
Thank you very much, Mark, for joining us today. We really appreciate having you on the show today.
Peace there, guys.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, guys.
Take care.
Cheers. Bye.
Thank you to our people for joining in.
Thank you to everyone who tuned in, who'll be watching this. We really do appreciate the support that you have been giving us to date. And just believe there will be much more stories of motivation coming through from our side.
Thank you very much. Once again, just a little recap. It doesn't matter where you come from. Your background don't define who you are. So we would like to take you one step further, and you can achieve what your mindset, where you put your mindset. If you want to be a Latin dancer, do not be afraid of the stigmas behind it. As Mark Anthony said, he's achieved and grown from there, no matter what people said. So that is the mindset we would like to change. Thank you for joining us on A Man's Journey.
Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good one.
Please subscribe to our channel for further motivation, or we will be soon doing many things through this channel. So please subscribe.